optimizing your prolapse symptoms. And that's really important. What we've got to talk about is managing your lifestyle to make sure that your prolapse doesn't get worse. Hopefully by doing your pelvic floor exercises, you're already feeling a little bit better. But remember, keeping your mind 3 to 5 months of hard work gets you to that point where you shouldn't feel it anymore. And when it's gone, it doesn't really matter. It'll stay there. It won't cause any issues. As long as you are maximizing your pelvic health and not doing any of the 4 things that I'm going to tell you about, then everything should be fine. So first of all, if you have a prolapse, it is really important that you do not get constipated. It is not one bout of constipation that is going to cause you to have an increase in your prolapse, but it is regular constipation. So if you've always been a person that's a bit more constipated, we need to do something about that. Start with the easy stuff, look at the bowel videos, optimise your bowel health that way, and then if that isn't working, let's talk about laxatives and other things that you can do, and that's something you can talk to me about. But making sure that you don't get constipated and stay constipated, that constipated is not your way of life. You know, you're going to the toilet every other day at least, if not every day, and it's easy to go when you do, you're not having to push everything out, okay? So that's 1. 2 is making sure that you've got the right weight. So we know that a BMI of more than 30 can increase your risk of prolapse getting worse. And the way that you reduce your BMI is looking at your weight management. And there is a video about your BMI that you can watch on here. The 3rd one is respiratory illnesses. So if you have COPD or a chronic cough, asthma, something that makes you cough a lot, or a chronic sickness event where you're sick a lot, which doesn't happen very often, coughing's much more common, then we need to be dealing with your cough so that we're not getting that constant pressure downwards, which is going to, over a long time, we're not talking 5 minutes, we're not talking a month or 2, we're talking a long period of time, several months, it's going to make things worse. And the final one is high impact exercise, okay? High impact exercise in general is going to increase your risk of that prolapse getting worse. Now, I work with you all one-to-one to make sure that the exercise that we get you back to is appropriate. And in many cases, getting back to jogging, running, CrossFit, lifting heavy, loading, that kind of stuff, high impact Zumba, is completely appropriate if your strategy, how you manage your pelvic floor, is strong. If you've got a good strategy for controlling the intra-abdominal forces and pressures. But if your pelvic floor isn't so great, then running may not be good for you, and you might find that actually that increases your symptoms. But this is where we have a conversation, and one size does not fit all. So what I would tell you is that have this conversation with me, tell me what you're trying to achieve from an exercise point of view, and we'll work towards it. And we'll look at whether or not we need to change your strategy, improve your strategy to get you to where you want to be. And tell all your friends. So if your friends have had babies or later in life have just started running and they're getting a few little issues with continence or with feeling something heavy downstairs, then it's not necessarily the best thing for them to be doing right now. But come and see a pelvic health physio, get yourself checked out, and let's look if we can improve that strength and strategy and move forward. Okay, so those 4 things, do you remember them? Can you tell me? Constipation, body mass index, weight not higher than a BMI of 30, coughing, avoid it, and high impact exercise, try and avoid it until you've seen me, and then we'll talk about things, okay? Those 4 things will keep you from your prolapse getting particularly worse. The key to all of it though is having a strong pelvic floor which can support that prolapse tissue in whatever you're doing. So doing your pelvic floor exercises throughout life is key.